I wish I knew this when I started. When I started my investment journey, when I get property, I just want to rent them out. I just want to rent them out because I was desperately looking for the cash. So if you haven't got that vision, right, you would really struggle when it comes to investing. Have you ever thought what it would be like to become a property investor? Maybe you're thinking about starting your property investment journey, or maybe you've seen people smashing it in the property investment world and you're thinking, ooh, how do I get myself going with that? So in this video, I'm going to share with you tips for investing in property for a great return on investment. Before we get going, I would like to appreciate all your support in all our social media channels. Our social media channels are growing immensely, especially our YouTube channel is growing and growing and growing. We're having lots of views, but doing a little bit of research, we realized that 70% of the people that are watching our videos are really watching it, but they're not subscribing to our channel. If you're one of those, I encourage you to smash that like button below and subscribe to our channel so that you can have notification for any of our future videos that we put out there. And it also helps us with the algorithm in order for YouTube to push the videos out there. So thank you, and thank you so much for helping grow the YouTube channel. Let's get to this. So in order for you to start your investment journey, it's very important for you to know these little tricks and tips in order to grow yourself in the property investment world. So this may be basic, but here's the thing. If you implement all these steps I'm going to share with you today, it would really help you in your property investment journey. And don't watch this passively. If you've never been taking notes on my videos, this video is the video that you really want to take note in order to help you with your investment journey. So let's get going. So one of the massive tips I would say when it comes to investment is having a vision. Right? You may be asking, what do I mean by vision? I'm not talking about your eyesight here. I'm talking about a vision of where you see yourself in the next 5, 10, 15 or 20 years. You may be thinking, whoa, how do I know what's happening to me in the next 5, 10 years? But the only way you can know about what your investment plan is the next 5, 10 years is by looking at it in a vision board. So by planning yourself, by saying what you want to achieve, right? You can do whatever, you can write whatever your vision board is, right? So once you've done that, then you have to put a time frame on it. Some people are very good in doing things yearly basis. If you're one of those, do it in a yearly basis. If you want to do it monthly basis, do it in a monthly basis. But what works for me really well is having a 5-year plan and then broke that vision into a yearly plan. So once I broke into a yearly plan, then I look at okay, in this year then, in my vision board or in my vision, what do I need to do to achieve what I set myself to achieve? Okay, so and then I start looking at that in my mind's eye and try to see if that could manifest in my mind's eye. In most cases, if that manifests in my mind's eye, I am likely to achieve what I set myself to achieve. So if you haven't got that vision, right, you would really struggle when it comes to investing. You don't have to have a massive and gigantic vision in order to succeed in property. Just see yourself going through that vision, and obviously set yourself goals in order to be able to achieve that vision. Next, set a clear investment goal. Now this is important. There's no reason why you shouldn't do this. Here's the thing. There's so many people start investing in properties because they see people buying properties left, right, and center and thinking they want to do the same thing without having the goal in mind and the reason why they want to invest in property. So set yourself a goal. I would advise you to have a gigantic goals. Aim for the stars. If you landed in the moon, you still would have got a very far distance. So set yourself a goal. Are you looking to acquire 10 properties a year, 15 properties a year, 20 properties a year, or maybe 30 properties a year? Whatever that is, then break that down in chunks. Imagine that with your vision in order to allow you to achieve those things. You may not achieve all the goals you've set yourself to do, but if you've achieved 60 to 70% of it, right, you still would have got somewhere. But don't go set yourself a really small goal. Maybe I'd like to buy 1 property a year. If you did that, if you don't buy any properties, you are in zero. But if you set yourself to buy 15 properties and you bought 10 properties, right, you would have got very far away. Or you set yourself to buy 10 properties and you bought 5 properties, you got 50% success rate. So hence the reason why it's very important for you to be able to set those goals and literally work on those goals. Next, investment tips. Research your investment area. I think I've been banging lagging on this so much that you may have heard me saying this every single video, right? So do your market research, do your due diligence. Is this an investment area you want to invest in? You're not doing it because it is local to you. You're not doing it because your mommy lives there. You're not doing it because your auntie lives there. You're not investing in that area because your cousin lives there, or your son is going to university in that city, or your daughter is about to go to university in that town or city. No, do not invest on that basis. Analyze, research that place in order to see if it's an investment area, and back that up with analyzing your rental income. So if you're to buy that property in that area, how much are you likely to rent that property out? Right, this is very important. If not me writing note down, write that note down now. Do not go and look for the best rental income in that area to put in your analysis. So if I were you, I'll look at the highest and the lowest, and you come in the middle, right, to work out what your rental income is. And at the end of the day, if you underestimate your rental income, right, and overestimate your expenses, if you realize then the rental income is more money, then guess what? You get surprises, you get good surprises. Hence the reason why it's important to analyze your rental income in order to know whether that property is profitable to you. Next, let's suppose you've bought this property now, you've acquired it, you're now a property investor, you just bought this property. The next thing you need to do is conduct a thorough property inspection before you let the property out. Make sure you go room by room, check the doors, the windows, the light bulb, the furniture if you furnish the property, the carpet, however the property look like. Make sure you do a thorough inspection. If you don't know how to do this, get someone who's qualified to do it for you. They have people that can do inventories for you. Get them to go and inspect the property nicely for you. Next, screen your tenants. Now, I wish I know this when I started. When I started my investment journey, when I get property, I just want to rent them out. I just want to rent them out because I was desperately looking for the cash. But if I know what I know now, I will take my time, patiently, literally vet my tenants. Don't get the first tenant that comes to you. Check their credit score, check their employment status, check whether they've got a guarantor, what their job title is, how long they've been in that job, have they rented before? If they did, what was their previous rental agreements like? Don't go for the latest landlord. Go for the landlord previous to the landlord that they are with right now. They will give you honest and genuine feedback about that tenant and ensure they are able, most importantly, pay your rent. Next, protect the tenant's deposit. Now this is important. There's so many landlords out there, I'm gonna be honest with you, that do not protect the tenant's deposit. Make sure you protect it, because if you protect that deposit, if anything goes wrong with your tenancy, if you ever want to evict the tenant, or if you ever have problem with the tenant, basically you've got that deposit protected. So if you go to court, you would provide as an evidence that you've protected the tenant's deposit, because if you don't, the tenant are able to claim about 6 months rent from you if you do not protect their deposit. The next part of it also, establish a strong tenancy agreement. If you're in Wales, they call these tenancy agreements contracts now. So make sure you've gone through the tenancy agreement. If an estate agency is doing it for you, make sure it is the right estate agents that are doing the right contract for you, and there's no flaws or clause in there that will actually tie you up to doing things that you're not supposed to do with the property. And make sure the tenant read every single page of that tenancy in order for them to sign it, and also to make sure they read every single page. Make sure there's a signature part of every single page, so that then they will go and read the page and sign every single page, just in case something happens in the future. You can say, listen, you've read this tenancy, it is your tenancy, you had the chance to read it. If you didn't read it, then obviously it's your bad, but make sure then that is done in an appropriate way. Don't rush them. Give them about 24 hours to even read the contract in order for you to make sure that you've got the right tenant there and they've signed that tenancy appropriately. Next, maintain contingency funds. I know you are protecting your investment here by basically getting the right tenant, getting guarantors, and obviously getting the right tenant for your property. But still, it's good to have contingency fund, because sometimes people will lose their jobs. Sometimes someone would fall ill. Sometimes someone can get sacked, or sometimes someone will wake up one morning and say, I'm not working anybody anymore. And then obviously they may consider not paying your rent in a monthly basis. They may say, oh, I'm not making money and I can't afford to pay the rent, and there is a delay in paying the rent. So if you got a contingency funds, then obviously you'll use that to pay your mortgage. And most importantly, having contingency fund help you significantly in case something goes wrong with your property, you have enough money to fix it. Next, if you haven't done this already, screen the letting or estate agency before you hand your property to them. Why is this important? It's important because if you've got a bad letting agency, guess what? It is the same as getting a bad tenant. Number one, things will go wrong. They won't report it to you. Tenant will fail paying the rent. They won't chase the tenant. Or something would happen in the property. They will not even consider helping the tenant out. And guess what? If the tenant has not been helped, if the tenant has not been looked after, guess what? They will be reluctant to pay you their rent. And if they're reluctant to pay you their rent, guess what? The agency will not be able to pay you their rent. So look for an agency that is very, very good in looking after the landlords, okay? So that then once you've handed the property over to them, they will help you look after the property and your investment. Next, this is very important. Stay updated with the landlord regulations. Make sure you are on top of the rules and regulations. What are the changes that are coming into the rental market? Whatever legislation that needs to be done, whatever legislation that have been put outside, make sure you put your eyes on it, read it and understand it, just in case, so that you would know whether this would impact your property investment. Finally, do not ever and forever forget to review your portfolio on a yearly basis, just to see whether you've got a property that you need to remortgage, or whether you can remortgage your property to pull out some of your investment to go again and buy more properties, or whether you can kind of start to diversify your property portfolio. Suppose you're a rent-to-rent investor. If you look at your annual income in an annual basis, realize you're starting to make a bit of money, you can then use some of that money to start acquiring or buying your own properties. So I really hope this video has been helpful. If this video has been helpful, hit the like button below, subscribe to my channel for more amazing videos. I look forward to sharing the next video.